Hey guys, it's Mike Hall here with Real Talk with Real Producers, and I've got Jay Hancock alongside me.
I just want to start off by asking you to like, subscribe to our channel. We want to know your feedback, comment, do all the things that you can do so that way we can get you guys the content that's really important. Okay, we're going to get right into it.
Today, been thinking about this one, and we've got a couple of really fun stories, and the title of it is going to be, it's not about the deal, it's about the relationships. So that's kind of a dead giveaway. In real estate, people all hear these horror stories from the buying perspective, seller perspective, but then it's kind of hidden behind, the glass door of agent perspective, right? What goes wrong. So, and I thought this would be interesting, and then our key takeaways and how we take these, stories that they're fun to talk about, but how do we apply them in the future, and what's the temptations not to?
I just wanted to tell you right now, there's nothing fun about retelling the story.
Right, it like pulls out of the depths of your heart, and you want to rehab these conversations that you had years ago. It's weird. I'm through most of it, but it keeps popping up, which is why I'm thinking about it again 2 years ago. So this one started back in, was it 2016 now, right? And I had this listing in a certain community on Lower Prior Lake. It's a really cool community because they're one-level living, maintenance-free townhomes, and what goes along with them is that each unit has its own slip to Lower Prior Lake, and there's a pool, there's tennis courts, there's a huge private beach. So it's good for anybody who has an active lifestyle or does a lot of traveling, where you get all the amenities and access without the massive maintenance. And then what's extra unique about this community is that the pricing for lake access and lake homes is really attractive. So it's a very unique type of offering. So 2015, 2016, I'm holding this house open, and I get people coming in that are looking for properties like that. Mm-hmm. And one in particular, this couple came in, and they wanted to be in this community, or by and large, they wanted to be on Lower Prior Lake under 600K, which is basically only possible in a teardown situation or in this townhome situation, but they did want to have lake frontage. So in this community, there's 80 homes, and there's only about 12 of them that are actually on the lake. And when they come up, they come fast. So I go to work for this guy, and we partnered together for probably a year and a half, and I showed him all of the different prices around Lower Prior Lake as they came up, whether they were single-family homes or not, finding out that the single-family homes are not going to match what he wants in his criteria, and it's going to have to be in this community. And lo and behold, a year and a half into this relationship, one pops up. I get us in there. We secure the property contingent on the sale of their home, and it's wham, bam, bam, but we were there and we did it, and the timing of the market was good. We gave them a good offer, and it was there, and we secured this property that their family had been looking for forever. The next day, having, signed this contingent on the sale of their home, we had some things to get in order, and we had to get their listing signed. So I come over there and I meet, husband, wife. We do a tour of the property, of the home that they have to sell. We pick good pricing that's attractive, that's going to sell ready. We put together this robust marketing package, videos, photographs, of course, open houses, all that high-level advertising.
I remember you called me after this appointment.
Yeah.
And you laid the whole picture out for them. Signed everything in person.
Man, we went through everything line by line. I even scheduled, we do videos for all of our listings, which is cool, but for this one, above and beyond, they had an indoor pool. Mm-hmm. And so I was going to do a lifestyle video, so I was going to hire actors, do all the things so that we could actually showcase the property for what it is and actually get this thing to sell. So we do all this, sign it up. I go on vacation with my family. This was a cool vacation. 2 days into the trip to Boston, I get a phone call from the client, and he calls me and says, hey, we had a guy come over, I think it was a family friend or something like that, told us our house is worth $50,000 more than it was worth. Not worth that. Yeah. Slash his commission. We're going that way. And I say, well, wait a minute here. We already had...
We're in listing agreement.
We're in listing agreement. I've got actors on the way. I got video on the way. Yeah. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And it shifts from that to, you tricked us. We didn't know what we were signing. Mind you, we talked about this. We went through in person, hand signed all the listing document. Like I can't trick somebody into. We went through line by line. We didn't even made notes in there.
Yeah.
Specifically changing certain things about the purchase agreement or about the listing agreement. So this is a unique situation,
Yeah.
and this is how far out there it is because typically, we talk and I might email it over to you and we'll go over the phone. But this one, we sat down and actually changed it, initialed all over it.
Oh yeah.
Thorough went through it, and they told me that I tricked them, that they didn't know I was partnering with them, and it's like whoa, hit me out. And so in that day, I kind of went against the grain, and I was trying to fight for it, and I ended up pummeling my whole vacation, and eventually I let loose and let it happen, and of course we get 6 months down the line, and they didn't do the proper marketing. They overpriced the home, and guess whose family didn't sell their house, didn't get to go to the lake home that we were going to.
Right.
That family did. So it's sad from that perspective, but then also brutal from my perspective, because this is 2 years, 1.5, 2 years in the making.
Yeah.
And it boils down to a client who you thought was partnering with you, but was actually just waiting for something that they perceived as better to come along so that they could kick you out. Mm-hmm. And that's my story.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal for everybody.
Yeah. I remember going through that with you.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the first time that something like that had happened to me.
Yeah.
And we've made changes. We'll talk about how we bring that into our life today. But first, before we get to that, Jay has a good story too.
What's funny about this is Mike called me this morning and he goes, hey, he retells me the story. That's what he was talking about earlier. And he goes, hey, do you have a story where somebody did that to you? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe, probably, but I cannot remember it. So much so that he had to call my wife, and it took our partnered lender to remember these stories. Yep. So I want to start with that because
he didn't say I don't know, probably. He says no, this has never happened to me.
No, I didn't say that. Absolutely not. Definitely didn't say that.
All right.
No, I said yes. I'm sure it has. I just cannot remember.
Okay.
That's exactly what I said. Word for word. If you want to get into that. Either way. So another story. Mike and I argue a lot. So we're going to just go ahead and leave it at that. All right.
Moral of that story, I had to call Sam and I had to call one of our preferred lenders to get the story.
Yes. I got a call from a couple and they had a really, really, really specific need on what they were looking for. They wanted lakefront, but their budget for the lakefront on the lake that they wanted, it was Lake Minnetonka, biggest lake in the Twin Cities, and their expectations really didn't align. So anyhow, really hard find for them. They had a house to sell. At the time, they thought that they had to sell their house in order to purchase, which I understood. I laid out the whole picture, met with them, signed their listing. We partnered, similar situation, right? We got their house ready to go. So when we found it, we were ready to go. We then started our search. So we start looking at existing inventory, all those things. And I'm like, hey, we should probably just find a lot and build. I think we're still going to probably be a touch above where you really want to be, but this is probably going to be the best option. So I go on the hunt and I start looking at lots and land. I can't find it in lots and land either because the lot prices are just too expensive. So I eventually find this property that's as a single family listing, and it's a house, but it's technically lake frontage. It's got a strip of land that's lakefront on the lake, yep. And it's got a huge 1 acre lot. Yep. And it's got this old house on it. It's an estate sale. Kids are selling it. I'm like, let's look at this thing. And we look at remodeling it, what was our first idea. And so I call up a good builder that I work with. He's built my house and other things in the past. And we go look at this thing for a remodel. And we end up realizing at this price, it's a tear down. Yeah. Let's just knock this thing down and start from scratch. And so we find this awesome opportunity. We get them in this position where they can buy this piece of land. And we found out we didn't have to be contingent. So we could buy the land and they could do that, secure it, and then we could list their house in a more timely fashion where they didn't have to feel that stress and that pressure, right? So, and I did this while I was at a concert and on vacation with my wife when we secured the deal on this land. Yep. Okay, and I'm negotiating this thing at a concert.
Yep.
and I get the deal done at a concert. My wife is pissed because I was in the bathroom negotiating a deal at a freaking concert.
Right.
Okay.
It's because these things aren't readily available.
No.
It took a lot of work to get
so
here.
it took a lot of work to get here. I knew I needed to secure it before somebody else did. And we were going to lose that lot if I didn't take care of it that night. Because another offer came in the next day, but we had already signed and dated that sucker. Okay. So anyhow, we get this thing done. We got a good deal on this land, and we're going down this road. All right. So fast forward to now the house is being constructed. They get their sworn estimate and all that kind of stuff. Construction line is open, and builder calls me. He goes, hey, they want to pull your commission out of this deal.
For those who are listening or watching, a sworn is the breakdown statement of what the builder is going to build your house for.
Yep. So it's
line
the line item breakdown of what is the cost of the house, what is the builder fee, what are commissions or additional fees that you might be looking at in regards to permitting, all that kind of stuff, right? So commission's in there, and I get a call from the builder, hey, they want to yank your commission out of this thing. I'm like, well, they can't. So, okay, thanks for the heads up.
Yep.
Call my client, and he's like, well, we just don't feel like we should have to pay this because you already got paid on the land. And I'm like, so you don't feel like I'm for stringing this whole thing together? I got you a builder, I got you a construction lender, I got you everything that you needed to build your dream house. I got you a lot that didn't exist. You don't think I should be paid for the whole project?
That effort. Yeah.
Okay. And I let it rip. I let him take it out. Because at the end of the day, if you don't want me in your deal, we will probably never do business again, first and foremost. And I don't care. It just is what it is. That's your burden to live with, not mine. And I'm always going to pay people for the things that they're doing on my behalf. That's an integrity thing to me. That's fine.
And we're moving on.
And I'm going to move right on with my life.
And so that's where we get our title from, that it's not about the deal.
Yeah.
Right? It's about the relationships. And we're not talking about just relationships in the moment. We're talking about lifelong relationships, right? We want to work with people who want us to be there, who value our pieces, that when we put together these, they don't even have to be complicated. These two examples are highly complicated deals where we went to work over long periods of time. But when you put these deals together and we find what you told us you're looking for, and we show up at the finish line and you say, thank you so much for all of your hard work. It's worth a lot to us, except for
it's not worth anything to me.
It's really not worth anything to me.
Yeah.
Because you were never a partner. You were just somebody that was there that I could use in the moment until something better came along.
Yeah.
Or until I didn't have to. So, like I said, it's not about the deal, it's about those relationships. And most of the people that we work with are that way, right? We get the phone calls, hey, I'm thinking about doing something like that. We'd like to partner with you and appreciate you. And when they're going through that line item, out of anything that they would cut, that would be the last thing that they would even consider doing to you, because we're in that type of relationship with them, right? We get each other's Christmas cards, right? We hang out all the time. We call each other, we text each other, right? It's not just about business in the home, it's about a relationship.
And it's also not about, I think there's a bigger picture that people generally have a hard time seeing, where it's like, I wouldn't be here in this position with this opportunity if it weren't for you.
Right.
Wouldn't have happened.
And that's mutually exclusive, right? It's both.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it works. So the most complicated thing here is that on an annual basis, most people aren't this way.
No.
Right? But what's the temptation when the stuff happens to you? This is deep stuff, right?
Yeah.
Destroyed my vacation in Boston. Completely consumed it.
Yep.
You ended up sacrificing for your family and ruined those pieces of time. I can guarantee you lost 1 or 2, maybe a week of sleep over it, right?
No.
And
but
anyways,
I did lose that night.
You know what I mean, right? That's what I mean is that, what is the temptation here is to start applying these hurt and these lessons to everything, right? Yeah. Becoming cynical. What did you say while we were planning this out is that the best thing we can do when this happens is
have a really short memory.
We don't take it to the next play, right?
Yeah.
Have a short memory.
Yeah. It's a football analogy, and I learned this through playing sports at a really high level, in college and all that kind of stuff. It's like, you're going to blow the winning shot more often than you're going to make it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And if all you can do in your mind is remember the times where you blew it, the next opportunity that presents itself, you're going to blow it again.
Yep.
That's just what happens. And it's super tempting in general, as I think it's human nature to replay things in your head. And you have to find a way to rewire your brain to not do that.
Mm-hmm. There has to be that ability.
You have to do it. Not saying that you don't acknowledge what's happened and you don't feel the emotion of what happened. It's that once you felt it and you know it's there, it's real, you have to find a way to swallow it and take on that attitude of, I have to move on with my life and I really cannot think about this anymore.
And we all do things in different ways.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm going to call 5 people. I'm going to call all 5 of them the story.
Yeah.
I need to hear that sucks.
Yeah.
And then I can put it away.
Yeah.
You find this cavity in the back of your brain where it just gets jammed.
Yeah. And I don't ever think about it again.
Unless somebody dislodges it, like this morning.
Yeah.
But so we need to find out how we do that, and we need to make sure that we're working on that ability too, right?
Yeah.
So if I tell 5 people and I still find a 6th and a 7th and an 8th and I'm still spinning, I need to revisit that because I need to stop, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the reason why it's important that you make that move mentally is that you're going to put things on the other people that you meet with later.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to carry the weight of that. If you're not able to really let it go, you're going to carry the weight of that into conversations that are completely unrelated.
Yeah.
But you've made a scenario in your brain because the brain is so powerful.
Yeah.
It has that ability to create scenarios that are not actually
And
happening.
you're trying to protect yourself, but
Yeah.
what you're actually doing is you're putting other people's negativity on other people who aren't that way.
Correct.
We have to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Whether it's reaching out to peers, making sure we're talking.
Yeah.
And we all do that, honestly. Like when we talk through this, I heard about it, Sam heard about it, Ken heard about it. Like you're not just sticking it away, you're definitely sharing the burden.
Oh yeah, but the only reason those people heard about it was because they were in it with
they're
me.
a part of it.
Yeah, they're a
That's what I'm
part of
saying.
it.
Yep.
Their family, they're very close, right?
So, as these come, the main lesson is take it laying down, right?
Yeah.
And it's against our nature because a good
Oh,
salesman, we have high dominance, high D. We want to crush things.
Yeah.
So working on that, take it laying down. Okay, you're not our people. You're just not our people. Good luck. I'll go find somebody who is my people, right? And then 2, really paying attention to not laying that, not becoming cynical, not putting that at other people as we come along, because we have hundreds of other clients that we need to service annually, right? We need to be our best selves for them, and they need to know that we have that mutual respect.
The other thing, and I want to end with this, is that in any business or any endeavor that you're in, whatever that might be, there's always another deal. And there are so many other people out there. There's so many opportunities. There's enough business. There is enough business for everyone. And for everyone to do it at a really, really, really high level. Don't get caught up in these 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, however many that you run into where they're that way. Because it's irrelevant. And there are so many more opportunities for you down the road.
They're fun stories, but they shouldn't be altering your life.
Correct.
That's what we got.
Real talk, real producers.
We'll see you guys next time.
Later.
Bye-bye.